Hello again, everybody. This is Rocket Rick J18, and today I'm going to talk to you about a video response for John Wade Boggs fans contest. And the contest is to talk about how to tell a story about how YouTube, just checking my notes here, uh, made you enjoy the hobby more. Uh, or maybe broadened your enjoyment of the hobby. So that's what I'm going to do. This is a little harder kind of a VR than some of the others because you don't get to show cards as much. I think that he really wants you to talk about and tell a story about. So the story that I'm going to tell is not a single event. It's mainly the about the journey that I have had as a collector and that I am currently undertaking. My journey as a collector began at the age of 6, and, and that was in 1959. So I've told this on a couple of videos a while back, but just to refresh your memory, I got my first baseball cards because I found a pack up against the backstop of a ball field that I walked across going from school to the apartment building that I lived in Philadelphia. And my mother was a nurse, and she got off off work a little bit after I did. And so sometimes I was picked up by my aunt whenever she could do it, and sometimes I walked home. On this particular day, I walked home and I found this pack of baseball cards. I really didn't know what they were exactly, but there wasn't anybody around. Somebody obviously had left it there, uh, hoping to retrieve it later, and didn't. So anyway, I opened them up, and the first card that came out of the pack was the 1959 Kurt Flood baseball card, and I'm gonna show it here, and uh, hopefully it'll zoom in there. Card number 353, and I'm gonna try to. There we go. Uh, Card number 353 in the 1959 set, and not entirely sure who number 6 is there in the background. Um, could be a Cardinal, could be a visiting or a player from another team. I'm kind of inclined to think that uh, uh, Stan Musial was number 6, so I guess it could be him. I don't know. I just don't know who it is. Um, anyway, this is how I got started, and for 38, well, I collected until I was about 15 or so, 16 maybe, and of course, like many of us, we got developed other interests than baseball cards, and so I gave away my collection of baseball cards to one of the kids in the neighborhood, including all of my Mickey Mantle cards and other cards that I certainly wish that I had hung on to, but didn't. So that's another story. And then I got interested in it Uh, I went to a local card show and I bought a baseball card, and I've told this story before too, but it was the 1960 Mickey Mantle card. And then I, acquired a few more cards. I got a couple of Bowman cards early on. They were a 54 Mantle and a 53 Gil Hodges. And I just, once I got back in with a vengeance, I guess you could say. And I collected cards for about 38 years up until about 2024 without really deviating much from the set collecting. And so I built sets, and on a few of them I expanded them to get insert cards and variation cards that interested me, but mainly it was just the sets. And so I have a pretty big collection of sets, and I think easily over 100, because the 80s they got to be so prolific with sets that you'd get 6 or 7 a year if you tried to get them all, which I did for a few years, and then just abandoned hope. I've got thousands of cards now that I probably won't ever look at again, other than just to say that I have them. And so I, changed from trying to collect every set to just collecting the Topps flagship set, and maybe not always every year, but maybe 1 or 2 sets that just caught my fancy. But I was kind of running out of post-war mainstream sets to collect, so I started collecting, inserts uh, and special sets. And so I got the 64 Giants set, the 64 coins, the 69 Decollage set, the baseball game set, some of the Milton Bradley cards, just various and sundry things like that. I got the checklists from the 56 and 57 sets, and 50, does 58 have? I think those were on the backs of the cards. Checklists were on the backs of the team cards. But whatever. The in early 57, 56, and 57, they were separate cards, like they are now. And then I expanded that to include the contest cards, and the cards that the kids all threw away after they opened the packs, because who cared about some advertisement, basically, of what they were. In 57, I think you had the Lucky Penny insert, and in 58 you had the felt pennants, and some things like that. Now, I did collect some of those. And then I expanded into, cards from sets from the 50s that, were regional, of, food issues like the Red Heart and the Dandy, and things of that nature. And I didn't always collect the whole set, but I usually got a card or two from the sets that I knew about, but I didn't know about them all. And so one of the things that happened when I got into making videos and YouTube, seeing other people's videos, is it just opened up a whole new world of collecting to me because I found out things. And I watched John Mangini and Mike Baseball Collector, Dave Blue Jacket 66, and others who had these massive collections of stuff that I didn't even know about, let alone, I was aware of the T206 issue, and but I only had one card, and that was just to have an example of it, and it was an obscure player and probably a very common back. I couldn't even tell you who it is now. But it certainly sparked my interest in pre-war collecting and in collecting the non-mainstream regional cards, from food issues, from insurance company issues, just various and sundry things. And I really, really like doing that. And that's probably the main element of my collecting today, strictly because I started watching videos on YouTube. Now, I still do collect sets, and I've got a few pre-war sets that I've finished. I've got a few that I'm in the active process of collecting, and those are certainly attributable to watching YouTube. So the other card that I'm going to show you is the most recent card that I obtained at a card show, and I've done a separate video on this. So this is a repeat showing of the T206 Cobb portrait with the green background, and I am really thrilled to own this card. It has the Piedmont back, which is just a common T206 back, and so that's the card that sort of best exemplifies what I'm sort of into now. I'm trying to collect a set of Hall of Famer playing days cards, and I haven't even looked to see how many that is. I'm sure many of you know, and if you do know, just put it in a comment below, because I'd like to get something without doing the hard work of looking it up. So anyway, that's what I have for you today, and I'm going to leave something for John Wade Boggs fan to be able to know that I've made this video response to his contest. So with that, this is Rocket Rick J18, wishing that all your collecting dreams come true.